Good afternoon, everyone. It's your guy JD. Hope all is well. Love and light, everyone. And today, guys, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of building versus buying homes in Dominican Republic. And before I get started, guys, I'm going to need you guys to hit that like, hit that share, and hit that subscribe button. So, with that being said, guys, so I know for a lot of you guys, those of you who are looking to invest in Dominican Republic, you probably asking yourselves, should I buy or should I just build? And I know it can be a daunting task to say the least. Take it from someone who's in the building process. So today I wanted to go over some of the pros and cons versus buying versus building. Now, we're going to start with buying homes in Dominican Republic. Should you buy a home in Dominican Republic? Well, I would say, number one, it is a faster move in time, and you can move in immediately or within weeks, especially for already furnished properties. Okay, now the only thing is that you gotta kind of figure out whether or not that is going to be ideal for you as a potential buyer. Okay, now two would be known costs. You know the purchase price up front and making budgeting easier. Okay, so you already know this is how much it's going to cost. You already have a budget set in mind, so it might be just easier for you to pretty much go that route. All right. Number three would be establishing infrastructure. Homes in gated communities or developed areas often come with roads, water, electricity, and internet, to say the least. Okay, so these are some of the pros. And I would say number five would be less hassle. No need to manage contractors, architects, or delays. So those would be some of the pros of buying a home in Dominican Republic. Now we're gonna go with the cons. Y'all ready for the cons? I would say number one would be limited customization. You need to renovate or compromise on layout, materials, or location. Okay, so that's one thing you guys have to keep in mind. You're not going to be able to customize it the way you want to, only because the house is pretty much built, already. Okay, to say the least. Number two, possible higher cost per square meter. Developers, guys, you guys already know this is Dominican Republic. It's an unregulated market. So developers mark up prices for convenience and profit. Keep that in mind. Now, number three would be older homes may need repairs, maintenance, or updates could be very, very costly. So you have to keep that in mind. You got to ask yourself, is it worth buying a home for $250,000? I'm just throwing a number out there, and then having to invest an additional 50 to 60,000 just to upgrade the home. So you really have to ask yourself that, and not just that. You have to worry about whether or not the home is built, in proper codes. You understand? You might have to. I would highly suggest someone that is looking to go that route to hire somebody that is experienced with structures. I mean, you guys all know what happened in Dominican Republic with the club, how the roof was no good, and they advised the owner of that club to fix it, and he didn't due to greed, and then the end result is the roof ends up collapsing. So you want to be sure that the house that you are looking to purchase is a home that is built by a reputable construction company. Okay, and you might want to ask, you know, the potential seller, you know, who built the home, um, how many years of experience did they have. These are the kind of questions that you want to ask, only because it might be a faulty things going on with that home that you might not be aware of. For an example, structural issues, plumbing, electrical issues. All of these things, could possibly be a major problem after you done bought the home. So you want to make sure, I repeat, you want to make sure that the home that you are purchasing, that the person that built that home has great reputation of, building homes and his experience before you want to make that kind of investment. Guys, this is your hard earned money we're talking about. So you need to do your due diligence to make sure that, you research this information before before you end up making a major investment that could, possibly be a bad end result for yourself. Okay. Now, number four would be foreign buyer risk. Without a good lawyer, you risk title issues or overpaying. Okay, so you don't want to overpay on a property that that they're telling you is worth 350,000, and then after you end up buying it, you come to find out it's worth 250. So you need to do your due diligence, and I always say shop around just so you can kind of see what the market is like in Dominican Republic. And it really is hard to tell, only because, as I said before, it is an unregulated market. So it really is no way of telling how much a property is really worth. What I say is everything is negotiable in Dominican Republic. You give them an offer, all they can do is say no. All right. So that's just my my outtake outlook on it, I should say. And then you guys pretty much make a decision whether or not you want to make that investment. Okay. So now we're going to go with building a home in Dominican Republic. The pros: number one, full customization. You have full customization of how you want to design the home. You want to design it exactly how you want to design it, so you can customize it in terms of ceramics, electrical, lighting, all these things, you can customize to your liking. So that is one of the pros of building your own home in Dominican Republic. Now we're going to talk about number two, low cost per square meter. Building can be cheaper if managed well, and land is affordable, So as I said, you always want to shop around. And I know one of the most difficult things for us as foreigners is time. Time has, the best of all of us. We're very limited on how much time we can spend to actually go down there to shop around to see what is the best fit for you. But I always say, if you have to make not one, not two, but three and four or five trips just to find exactly what's ideal for you, I say do it. Do not rush. Do not rush. This is your hard earned money that you investing. So take your time when it comes to shopping around for land and homes for that matter. Now, number three, investment potential. You might build equity quickly in a growing area. All right. So that is the potential. You have to shop around, make sure that, I always say, you want to go into an area where it's up and coming. If you see a lot of construction going on in that area, that might be an ideal area for you to build in. Me, myself, I decided to build in a campo. Um, is there any construction going on right now? No, it's not. And I wouldn't let that hinder you guys. Sometimes it has to take one person in order to start the gentrification. Okay. So therefore, I always say, you know, look around, and you always ask the neighbors, the people in the community, in the area, what's going on around you, in order to make that decision whether or not it is ideal for you to make that investment wherever you're looking to purchase. Okay. Now, number four would be everything is brand new: roofing, wiring, plumbing, etc. As I said, when you're buying a built home versus something that you're going to build yourself, you know, the wiring, the plumbing. Most Dominican homes are built Dominican standard. We are Americans. We are foreigners. So most of us would like our homes to be built with American standard materials, such as plumbing is one of the major things that uh, people forget to think about when they're looking to buy a home. Most homes are built with Dominican standard pipes, which I'm sure if you guys have rented Airbnbs, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Flushing tissue down the toilet, you can't do that only because the tissue ends up backing up in the pipes. So therefore, when you are building a home, you build it with American Standard pipes so that you can flush as much tissue down that toilet without having to worry about the toilet being backed up. It's small things like that that we need to look at when purchasing a home in Dominican Republic. Oh yeah, you might say to yourself, "Oh, it's a good deal, it's a good price," but you got to ask yourself, how is the electric wires American Standard? Is the plumbing American Standard? So these are the kind of things that you have to worry about, and not just worry, but ask yourself before making a big investment like that. A lot of us don't think about these kind of things when we're looking to buy a home already constructed. And let's just be totally honest, most of these developers, well, I would say old developers anyway, are building, they're not building American Standard, okay? And then once you build this house, you end up having to spend a couple of $1,000s just to upgrade your home to American standards, which can be costly. Okay, so you need to ask yourself, should I or should I not buy already built or build it myself? Okay, now we're going to the cons of building your home. It takes time. Yes, guys, it takes time. It has been a 3-year journey for me, to say the least. I've been very transparent with a lot of you about the building process. Yes, it has been a daunting task, to say the least, but with all the knowledge that I have obtained, the next go round, I can do it with my eyes closed. And construction usually takes anywhere from 6 to 18 months if you have the money, or longer, depending on the location and the builder. That's very important. The builder is very important because you got to know the person that you're hiring. You need to know their reputation, and the history of building homes in the Dominican Republic. So number two, can be stressful. It can be very, very stressful, especially if you don't have the resources, if you don't have the right people to guide you along the process. It can be very stressful and daunting, to say the least. You must manage permits, inspections, labor delays, and possible corruption. These are all the things that you need to watch out for when building a home. So I always say, before you hire a contractor, whether it be a contracting company or whether it be a local Dominican that says they know what they're doing, make sure that you do your due diligence by, searching and asking other people that they have, that homes that they have possibly built in the past, structural issues, things of that nature. These are the kind of things that you want to look out for and ask before you hire your potential contractor or local contractor. Okay. Number three, hard to estimate costs. Prices can rise due to inflation or material shortages, and that has happened to me. I've started my project back in 2022, and since then, prices of materials have gone up about 6%. So these are the kind of things that you have to look out for, especially if you're building like I am, phase by phase. As I said, it's been a 3-year process for me, so you can expect prices to go up. So don't be upset if your builder gives you a certain price, and then the prices changes with over a 3-year span. I mean, what do you expect? Materials have gone up. So I always say, add an extra couple of thousand onto your budget, just so you have that you just add an extra couple of thousand on your budget, if in case prices go up, during the time of your time and process of you building. All right. Number three would be land risk. You must verify clean title, zoning rules, and access to utilities before you start building. It's very, very important. If you're building in a zoning area, you definitely need permits. So sewer is a tourist area. So that's when they say zoning areas are areas that are highly populated with tourists, and just a place where a tourist attraction, which would be Sosua and Cabarete. So if you're building in those areas, you need to make sure that you have your permits and everything in place before you start building, because what will end up happening is they will come and they will shut your construction down until you get the proper permits in order to start building your home. Keep that in mind, guys. Now, number 5, unreliable contractors. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's definitely a unreliable contractors. You definitely have to look out for. Poor management can lead to delays, extra costs, or legal fees, fees that you don't anticipate on. You know, the last thing that we want to do is hire a contractor, and they do everything that they say they do all of what they say they're going to do, and they end up not doing it. You know, that is the last thing that you want for yourself. You want to make sure that the person that you are hiring, I repeat, guys, you want to make sure that the person that you're hiring is reputable. How many years have they been in business? How many homes have they built over the you? I mean, honestly, you should be hiring a contractor that has well over 10 years of experience building homes, well over 10 years of experience. That shows, that they are experienced in what they say they are going to do. And make sure that you have everything written down in a contract to protect yourselves. It's very important. Everything should be contractual when you're spending your hard-earned money in Dominican Republic, for sure. And that's pretty much the pros and cons. Now my final thoughts I want to give: buying, if you want speed, convenience, and less risk, I would say buy. Building, if you want a unique home and can handle long and a more involved process, I say go ahead and do it. But I always say, before you go through the building process on your own, you want to talk to some of the expats who may have had their homes built. Go and look at their home, and make a decision whether or not you want to go with a local contractor or a contracting company. I say, dealing with local contractors, you end up paying less of money, and with contracting companies, you end up paying more because most of them are in the business of making money versus a local. Usually they're trying to establish their business. So you're going to get a better price dealing with a local contractor versus a contracting company, if that makes sense. So, with that being said, guys, if you like this video, be sure to hit the like, hit the share, and hit the subscribe button. Until then, guys, I'll be talking to you soon. You guys take care.